Think about the last time you were in an argument. Maybe it was with a partner who knows exactly how to push your buttons. Maybe it was with a colleague who speaks over you with a tone of unearned authority. Or maybe it was with a family member who refuses to see reason, no matter how many facts you present. In those moments, what happens to you? Your heart rate speeds up. Your face flushes. Your mind scrambles to find the perfect comeback, but the words get stuck in your throat. And later that night, while you are lying in bed, you finally think of the perfect thing you should have said. But by then, it is too late. You lost. We have been taught that winning an argument is about having the better points, the louder voice, or the faster wit. We are told that if we just explain ourselves well enough, the other person will eventually say, "You are right." But here is the hard truth: you cannot win an argument by arguing. The more you push, the more the other person resists. The more facts you give, the more they dig into their own delusions. In the world of human psychology, an argument is not a battle of logic, it is a battle of ego. And when the ego is under attack, it would rather destroy the relationship than admit it is wrong. But today, I am going to show you how to change the game entirely. I am going to give you 3 psychological shifts that will allow you to navigate any conflict with a quiet, unshakable power. These are not manipulation tactics. These are principles of high-level emotional intelligence. When you implement these 3 things, you will notice that you stop losing your breath and start gaining the floor. You will stop being the person who gets steamrolled and start being the person who directs the energy of the room. But before we begin, ask yourself, are you tired of feeling small in your own conversations? Because the first thing I'm about to share is going to make you feel larger than you ever have before. The first thing: master the art of the strategic question. The biggest mistake people make in an argument is trying to provide answers. They spend all their energy explaining their perspective, justifying their choices, and defending their character. When you explain, you are in a defensive position. You are giving the other person ammunition to pick apart your reasoning. You are working hard, while they are just sitting back and judging you. So, here is the shift: stop explaining and start asking. The person who asks the questions is the one who controls the conversation. Questions force the other person to do the work. They move the spotlight off of you and onto the flaws in their logic. Instead of saying, "You are being unfair because of X, Y, and Z," ask, "What is your goal in saying that to me right now?" Instead of saying, "That is not how it happened," ask, "Help me understand how you arrived at that conclusion. What specifically makes you feel that way?" When you ask a calm, sincere question, you do 2 things. First, you interrupt their momentum. People who are angry are used to resistance, they are not used to being asked to explain themselves logically. Second, you force them to realize, out loud, that their argument might not hold water. Here is the secret: most people cannot explain their anger. When you ask them to, they often realize they have no ground to stand on. And that is when their power begins to evaporate. If this first technique resonates with you, if you have been exhausted by over-explaining yourself to people who aren't even listening, then the second thing is going to feel like a massive relief. Because it is about the one thing your opponent expects you to do, but you are going to refuse to do it. The second thing: harness the power of the golden silence. In a heated argument, silence is the ultimate weapon. Most people are terrified of it. They feel a frantic need to fill every gap with noise. They think that if they stop talking, they are conceding. But the opposite is true. Silence is a sign of total self-control. When someone says something disrespectful, hurtful, or illogical to you, your instinct is to snap back. You want to defend yourself. You want to hurt them back. Instead, I want you to do nothing. Look them directly in the eyes. Breathe through your nose. And count to 5 in your head. Do not say a word. Do not roll your eyes. Do not cross your arms. Just hold the space. This is what we call the golden silence, and it is devastating to an opponent. When you refuse to react, you are refusing to give them the emotional hit they are looking for. People argue because they want to provoke a reaction. They want to see you get upset because it gives them a sense of power over your emotions. When you stay silent, you are signaling, your words do not have the power to move me. This silence forces the other person to sit with their own words. Often, they will keep talking just to break the tension, and in their rambling, they will eventually say something that proves your point for you. And here is what most people don't realize about that silence: it acts like a mirror. When you remain calm and quiet while someone else is shouting or being irrational, you aren't just protecting your peace, you are forcing them to look at their own reflection. Without your reaction to feed their fire, their anger has nowhere to go. It begins to burn them instead of you. Eventually, the tension becomes so great that the other person will often feel the need to apologize or soften their tone just to make the silence stop. You haven't said a single word, yet you have already de-escalated the entire room. You have won the energetic battle before the logical one even began. If the first thing, the strategic question, gave you control, and the second thing, the golden silence, gave you protection, then this third thing is what will give you the ultimate victory. But ask yourself this: do you want to be right, or do you want to be respected? Because there is a very dangerous trap that 99% of people fall into during an argument, and avoiding it is the only way to ensure the other person actually listens to you. The third thing: reframe the argument into a collaborative problem. The moment an argument begins, a wall goes up. It becomes me versus you. Once that wall is there, it doesn't matter how smart your points are. The other person has shifted into survival mode. Their brain is literally incapable of processing your logic because it is too busy defending its own ego. To win, you must tear down the wall. You must stop making them your opponent and start making them your partner. You do this through a technique called reframing. When you sense the argument spiraling, you must pause and say, "Wait. I think we both want the same thing here. We both want this project to succeed, or we both want to have a peaceful evening. How can we make that happen together?" By using the word "we," you are performing a psychological bypass. You are telling their subconscious mind, "I am not your enemy. I am on your side." The moment they feel safe, their defenses drop. And the moment their defenses drop, they finally become capable of hearing your perspective. This is the highest form of winning. A true win isn't when the other person walks away feeling defeated and resentful. A true win is when the other person walks away feeling understood, while you get the outcome you wanted all along. But wait, what if the person you are arguing with is a narcissist or someone who wants to be your enemy? There is a specific way to handle those people that reverses the power dynamic in seconds, and I'm going to show you that right now. If you resonated with the first two traits, the ability to ask deep questions and the strength to remain silent, then this third trait of strategic partnership will feel like the missing piece of the puzzle. It takes the observer and turns them into the architect. You are no longer just watching the argument, you are designing the conclusion. Most people fail here because they get addicted to the hit of proving someone wrong. They want to see the other person look stupid. They want the apology. But the wise person knows that an apology forced by humiliation is worthless. It only creates a future enemy. When you reframe the conflict as a shared problem, you allow the other person to save face. You give them an exit ramp from their own anger. And because you provided that exit, they will naturally look to you as the leader of the conversation. Now, you might be thinking, "This sounds great in theory, but how do I stay this calm when I'm actually angry?" This is the hurdle that stops most people from winning, and there is a simple biological trick to stay in control that I want to share with you next. If you can see how reframing changes the entire energy of a conversation, you are beginning to understand the difference between force and power. Force is trying to push someone to your side. Power is making your side so inviting that they choose to walk over themselves. This shift from opposition to collaboration is exactly why people with high emotional intelligence seem to move through life with so little friction. They aren't avoiding arguments, they are transforming them. They know that the person who is most willing to walk away, or most willing to listen, is the one who holds all the cards. By implementing these three things, you are essentially telling the universe that you are no longer a victim of other people's moods. You are the master of your own emotional atmosphere. The biological trick to staying in control during this process is as simple as it is ancient: the nose-breathing anchor. When we get into an argument, our body shifts into fight or flight. Our breathing becomes shallow and moves to the chest. This sends a signal to the brain that we are in physical danger, which shuts down our logical prefrontal cortex. The moment you notice your heart racing, force your tongue to the roof of your mouth and breathe only through your nose. This physically prevents your brain from panicking. It keeps the leader part of your mind online, while your opponent is stuck in survivor mode. But here is the most profound secret of all: what if the argument you're having isn't actually about the topic you're discussing? 90% of arguments are about a hidden emotional need, and I'm going to show you how to identify that need so you can end the fight in seconds. If you have understood the previous parts, if you have practiced the silence and the reframing, you will start to notice that arguments are rarely about the facts. They are about validation. Most people argue because they feel unseen, unvalued, or afraid. When someone is screaming about the dishes or a work deadline, they are often actually saying, "I feel like I don't matter." The moment you identify that hidden need and address it, simply by saying, "I hear that you're stressed, and I value everything you do," the argument often vanishes instantly. You have won because you have solved the root cause, not just the symptom. You have transformed from a fighter into a healer. The identity shift, from debater to director. For too long, you have approached arguments as a victim. You have gone into them hoping to be heard, hoping to be right, and hoping to be treated fairly. But that mindset is a position of weakness. It puts your happiness in the hands of someone who is currently angry or irrational. Today, you are stepping into a new identity. You are becoming the director of the narrative. A director does not get upset when an actor forgets their lines. They simply pause the scene and guide them back. When you are the director, you aren't in the argument, you are above it. You are watching the patterns. You are choosing the questions. You are deploying the silence. You are guiding the energy toward a conclusion that serves your peace. Now, if you are ready to stop being a participant in other people's chaos and start being the architect of your own respect, there is one final thing you must do to seal this new power. If you resonated with the traits of the peace protector in our previous discussions, then this transition to the director will feel like a homecoming. It is the natural evolution of someone who has gone through too much to care about petty victories anymore. You no longer want the win of making someone else feel small. You want the win of maintaining your own dignity and ending the cycle of disrespect. The ultimate victory in any argument is the ability to walk away with your peace intact, regardless of whether the other person changed their mind. If they are committed to their own delusion, your win is the realization that you don't need their agreement to be correct. The 24-hour implementation plan. Here is how I want you to use this new power starting right now. Step 1. Identify the trigger. In the next 24 hours, notice the moment someone says something that makes you want to snap back. Feel the flush in your face. Acknowledge it. Say to yourself, "The game has started." Step 2. Use the 5-second silence. Before you say a single word, breathe through your nose and look them in the eye for 5 seconds. Watch how uncomfortable they become. Feel the power returning to you in that stillness. Step 3. Ask the goal question. Ask them, "What is your goal in speaking to me this way?" or "What are we trying to achieve here?" Then, stay silent again. The final declaration. If this message has given you the clarity you needed, if you felt your shoulders drop and your mind clear as you listened, then I want you to make a commitment to yourself. I want you to tell the universe that you are no longer available for unproductive drama. Go to the comments below and write these exact words. I choose power over reaction. Let those words be your signature on a new contract. Let them be the moment you stop being the easy one and start being the wise one. Winning an argument is not about the last word. It is about the last feeling. If you walk away feeling grounded, respected, and calm, you have won, no matter what the other person says. You have proven that your peace is not for sale. You have proven that you are the master of your own emotional house. Thank you for your time, your energy, and your willingness to grow. You are part of a rare group of people who are choosing depth in a world of surface noise. The world doesn't need more people who can shout. It needs more people who can listen, who can question, and who can lead with a quiet, unshakable authority. Until next time, keep your breath deep, your voice selective, and your heart guarded. The director has taken the floor.